Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Daniel. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscription. This is the daily forecast. It is for all signs, and I do speak in broad terms. You need to figure out if and where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong. It doesn't mean you're not on your path. It just may not be your reading at this time. It's originally created for Friday, the 19th of May, the new moon in Taurus, guys. So get ready for new creations. And the sign of Taurus is very much, about hard work, perseverance, 3D material world, money, those sort of things. So those should be the things that we might want to be looking at, thinking about manifesting during this time, or setting our intentions for the next moon cycle. What was I going to say? For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu and any video of my daily videos. In there is some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel, what decks I'm currently using in the video, how to contact me via social media, either Instagram or my Facebook business page if you're interested in a private reading. Know that you would have to initiate that conversation. I will never come to you to try and sell you a reading. So if anybody does, it's more than likely not me. And then easy ways to support the channel. You can do that by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you get notified when I put up new content. I do put up daily content. Sharing the video out or leaving me a question or comment. I also want to say that I do believe that readings can be timeless. So even though this is created for the 19th, Friday the 19th of May, it doesn't necessarily mean it's solely set for that date. If you're seeing this video on a different date, if it showed up in your YouTube feed and you happen to be watching it, and it makes sense to your situation on a different day, by all means, utilize the reading. Like I said, the readings can find us when we need them rather than when they were originally created for. I will be referring back to cards in the Sunday underpinning reading if I feel that they're significant. And that is the Sunday reading that shows us the sort of the energy underpinning everything for the week. So you can check that video out at the end of this video in the lower left-hand corner if you want to understand what I'm referencing back to. All right, so let's see what these cards in Spirit want us to know for Friday the 19th, new moon in Taurus. It's funny too because we just came out of the Mercury retrograde, so it's almost like you can feel the turnover, the release of the energy. It just feels different. It feels kind of nice, if I'm being honest. Let's look at our card for the day. It's the Hierophant. This is Taurian energy. This is also, this card is represented by the sign of Taurus. It is Major Arcana, so this is a big energy. It's one of the pillar cards of the deck, so it's a very strong, stable energy, right? It's highly spiritual. It's obviously this guy is a pope, right? This card's associated with higher spiritual learning, intelligence, wisdom, but wisdom of a more solid spiritual nature, right? Like, I don't know why, but in my head, the word that's ringing in my head right now is truth. It's like our own inner truth. And the reason why I'm thinking that, I think, is yesterday's reading, which I just got done watching with everyone at the premiere this morning before taping this, is we've had these knights show up. Yesterday was the Knight of Wands, and underpinning it was the Knight of Cups from the Sunday reading. And we're kind of shifting between the Knight of Cups from Sunday reading and the Nine of Pentacles, which is that earth energy of independence, right? That earth energy of abundance. Yesterday's grounding stone was the word wealth. The Nine of Pentacles would be about that wealth if we started to ground and put our attention towards where we're wealthy. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be financial wealth. We strengthen ourselves into this position of, say, the Hierophant, which is this strong sense of spiritual truth, awareness, wisdom through maybe our past experiences, through, whatever we know to be true. We're honoring that today. We're acting from that place. The Hierophant is to me, a card of compassion, but it's, we're not necessarily going to alter our beliefs or what's right in our world for outside influences, so to speak. That's the sort of pillar nature of the Hierophant, right? The Hierophant can sometimes signify marriage for those of you that might be contemplating that. There could be talks of that, or unions, coming together in ways that are more solid or more strong, more spiritually connected. Maybe seeking those things out in our relationships, but we're doing so from a place that I believe is empowered, a place that is strong, stable, honorable, truthful, right? And we're honoring or living by that truth of who we are today. And this is nice because we're going into the new moon. So if we are setting intentions around the new moon, and especially in the sign of Taurus, then we need to be stable and honest and truthful in what we know to be our higher understanding of how things need to be, how we want them to be, how they honestly, like, we deserve them to be. And I don't say that from a selfish place. I say that from a place of, like, the Hierophant is a person of honor, right? He's a person of strong spiritual wisdom. He's the part of us that we should be listening to and honoring and allowing to lead. He's like the masculine form of the high priestess, right? So, it being on the more masculine side of the cards, it would mean not only honoring that truth, but maybe taking action in that truth. Sometimes, though, with the Hierophant, I don't think of him as the most actionable card in the sense that he's sort of sitting there kind of presiding over everything. But, sometimes when we don't make a choice or when we don't take action, that is an effort, in essence, sorry, I'm still waking up, in essence, making a choice, right? I always feel like this choice comes from this place of compassion, though, with the Hierophant. He's always about, spiritual leadership in a way, or living by example, um, uh, uh, doing, what he knows to be true at that, like, sort of highest sense of self, so to speak. Does that make sense? And so we should be living from this place today, especially with the underpin of kind of both energies of the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. This is going to bring us about a strength and ideally a direction to move towards that is in alignment with who we are spiritually, definitely. And then, therefore, because of the Taurian influence of this card, very much quite possibly materially or in the 3D body, when we align with our spirit and our truth, we kind of can heal ourselves at the physical level, in our physical world, through our relationships, through our experiences, all of that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It doesn't sound a little too out there. Let's look at the Untamed Elemental card. Oh, whoa, this was on the bottom of the deck when I picked up the deck this morning. Interesting, it shows up after the shuffle. It's Root. So with Root, hello Earth energy, hello New Moon in Taurus, hello Hierophant. Root to me is about being rooted, grounded. There's that green dot in the center, which is that center of healing. It's the listening to our heart. It's listening to the truth of, our heart chakra, and then rooting down in that and allowing those roots to take place or to grow in such a way that it makes us more stable, more strong, more resilient, more grounded and solid in what we know to be true and how that truth needs to be for us. And that's not coming from a place of, like I said, selfishness. It's coming from a place of spiritual awareness, spiritual wisdom, understanding, even compassion, that this is what we need. This is the truth of our heart. This is the truth of our spirit. This is what we're grounding in, who we are, what we're taking root in. Let me read Root to you. A lot of Earth energy. It'll be interesting to see what the clarifiers are. It's interesting that that was on the bottom of the deck and then it came out after like 4 shuffles through. Very interesting. Because I mean, you're not going to believe me, but I actually thought that would be cool if that showed up after I saw the Hierophant, and sure enough it did. All right, stabilization. I love it because the Hierophant is so stable, his energy. Root is the starting point. He is the vast unseen network of life that draws energy from the earth and creates a stable platform for life to grow and thrive. He offers a constant source of sustenance, connection, and communication. Root delves and twists, sharing insight into his neighboring kin and creating a strong community. It's interesting too, we had Sky and Sun the last few days. Sun feeds the roots to grow out, now that I think about it. And when it talks about his sharing insight with his neighbor and kin and creating a strong community, we did have the friend stone this week, and wealth, you know, that could be that strong community or the network and how we build upon those relationships. As the most ancient and reliable anchor of planetary support, he guides us to grow stronger and more stable. Root asks you to establish firm foundations and develop a relationship with your own network of stabilization. He is the connecting force that carries all answers, so take stock. Are you receiving the right nourishment? Are your relationships loving and supportive? Are you drinking enough water, getting enough movement and sleep, breathing deeply? These pleasurable and achievable practices should be your starting point. An imbalance in one of them will translate to depletion in other areas of your life. Nurture your roots and watch your life blossom in miraculous ways. I like that because the Hierophant would be associated with spiritual miracles too. Balanced is flourishing, productive, effective. Imbalanced is depleted, inefficient, stunted, and scattered. To bring it into balance, explore nature in new ways while listening to your subtle body. Initiate self-inquiry in all that arises for you. There's a truth here within us that we need to honor today. I mean, before I even get to the clarifier, I just have to say that. And this truth is a good truth. Like it's a solid truth that will stabilize us, that will make us stronger if we honor it, if we listen to it, if we don't run from it or deny it or pretend like, oh, tomorrow I'll deal with it. Like, no, today is the day that the Hierophant asks us to kind of come be present in this truth and really sit in the wisdom of it and then allow it to root down into our world, into our life, and then see what stems and grows from it. Let's look at the clarifiers really quick. We have the Emperor, Aries energy, another man of power. The Devil, Capricorn energy. Oh, shit. And the High Priestess, Pisces energy. Whoa! Ding, 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 Las Vegas style. They've all come to the party, and what a party it is. Okay. Shit. So, the Devil being present, yes, the Devil can be a bad card, right? But the Devil being present with Root being there, I'm not scared. This is why we need Root to be present, so that we can face whatever this devil scenario is. The devil can manifest itself in a myriad of ways. It can be anything that we're addicted to. It can be any relationship, bad habit, anything that kind of boxes us in or denies us our spiritual truth. And to me, it feels like the Hierophant is like, no, I know this to be true. I'm actually a bigger card than you today. And I brought my friends, the Emperor and the High Priestess, my good girl, Judy, the High Priestess, to meet you at the door today, Devil, and you're not going to win. We may have to look at some deep truths within ourselves about ourselves that we maybe don't necessarily like, or shed light on those truths. And the reason why I say that is the Devil would represent some of that, but also the High Priestess is about spiritual secrets and the sort of, I think that she helps us. I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I feel like she helps us to access some of the underbelly of maybe stuff that we've been avoiding or not wanting to look at. This Devil could represent shadow work for some of us, especially with the Hierophant and the High Priestess here, because they're such spiritual cards. The influence of the Emperor here to me has a couple of different meanings. One is I think that we're strong enough and capable enough to take action and to make decisions in our life that serve us and us alone. We can do so from a place of compassion with letting the Hierophant lead, but it's backed by the Aries fire of the Emperor, right? There's a lot of masculine energy in here too, between Root and Devil and Aries. Emperor and Hierophant. But so I feel like we do have the actionable ability to discern, to make choices that serve us and that serve us well, right? But I also think that some of us, sometimes the Emperor can represent a non-conforming, kind of tough love, potential father figure or person of authority that, although they love us, they don't necessarily give that love so easily or freely. They require hard work, perseverance to impress. So some of you could be dealing with someone like that. That could be creating sort of this devil situation or this feeling of being, stuck, manacled in a way to it. But I feel like the High Priestess and the Hierophant kind of balance that out, because if we are dealing with somebody that's maybe a little bit more hard-headed or set in their ways, if this Emperor is an energy that's outside of us also, it's also an energy that's within us, right? So we have the ability to face off with it or to face it with our own Emperor energy, but also using the sort of spiritual awareness of the Hierophant and the High Priestess to kind of, I don't want to say maneuver around it, but that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting it. And I think that maneuver around it isn't the right term, but it gets us through this situation, but we have to face it head on. And I feel like we are, and we're ready, especially with everybody. And everybody, I gotta say this too, everybody's seated. Like, everybody's come to the board meeting. Even the devil's like squatted down seated. So some of us could be having that board meeting in our head where it's like our head, our heart, our spirit they've all come. Our fears, would be the devil. Our insecurities, our ego could be the devil, have all come to chime in today, to help us sort through whatever it is we need to sort through to get to the higher spiritual truth, and then access those spiritual secrets and then take action in our life during this new moon in Taurus. I don't get a bad feeling from these cards. I get a big feeling from these cards. And Root to me also says that we are well grounded to have this meeting of the minds, the voices in our heads, or the different aspects of ourselves, or if this is outside of ourselves, if it's a situation that's causing us this devil energy, not causing us, but that we're involved in, that creates this anxiety, that would be the devil's energy. We're ready to face it. We have the tenacity and the power to do it. And I've got to say this, underpinning this is not only that Knight of Cups again, but we're moving into that Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of liberation, freedom, and independence. So, with all of these heavy hitters here today on the new moon, be willing to look, this is what I want to say, be willing to look in the nooks and crannies, in the dark shadows of our relationships, our mind, our heart, our life, and really decide what works and what doesn't. You're going to know the answers by the truth of the Hierophant, right? By the truth of the Emperor, by the truth of the High Priestess. We're going to know what's right for us and what's not. And I think that the reason why all these cards show up on this new moon day in Taurus is it's kind of like, okay, is this working for me in my world? Do I bring it with me? Do I continue to lug this along? Because Taurus has the strength to not only lug it along if we choose to, but Taurus also has the strength to let it go and continue to move forward without it and create something new. Does that make sense? So be aware, the signs that are on the board here, in case we are dealing with stuff that's outside of us or people that are outside of us, is Taurian energy with the Hierophant, Pisces energy with the High Priestess, Capricorn energy with the Devil, and Aries energy with the Emperor. I am going to say this too, the Devil... The devil doesn't always have to be negative. Oh, well, there's our grounding stone. It just flew out of the bag. Where did it go? The devil doesn't always have to be negative. He can be a little bit of sensuality, sexuality, fun, connection in that way that's carnal. So for those of you that don't, say, have a negative devil situation outside of you that you can, or around you or within you, that you can like say, oh yeah, that's my devil, that's what I've not been facing, or that's what I need to, deal with, break free from, whatever. he could be representing like embracing a little bit more of your sort of in essence sort of like shadow work, embracing your dark side and going out and enjoying yourself, maybe having a couple of extra cocktails or meeting somebody for a tryst, or it's not necessarily probably our truest nature of who we are, but it could represent a release or uh, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like for some of you that maybe need to blow off steam during this new moon, I will tell you this, it's the new moon in Taurus. Taurus energy is great for sex. And so that's where I'm thinking, this devil maybe isn't such a bad thing in some ways, as long as we're facing off or in our strength of our emperor, our hierophant, and our high priestess. Does that make sense, guys? So I don't want to tell you go out and like bang somebody in a barroom bathroom, but that would be also the devil's energy, and that's not necessarily the end of the world. It's just a little bit of a dark-sided secret of who we are, what we needed in the moment that we honored. And let's get to the grounding stone that flew out of the bag. Carnelian, the root chakra, definitely ground in this. I like the redness of the vibrancy of the red. The word is knowledge. It matches the vibrancy of the action of the Aries Emperor and a little bit of the vibrance of the Devil's Body to me. And the pomegranates behind the High Priestess, to be honest. And the red circle of root. There's a knowledge or a wisdom here, whether it's through shadow work, through a situation that's outside of ourselves, a relationship that maybe is giving us trouble or that we feel stuck in. We're not stuck. We know the truth. That's the thing. We have the wisdom and the knowledge, and we need to ground in that knowledge and act from that place of knowledge. Compassionately, definitely. But from a place of strength, even nobility in a way. I get this definite sense of nobility with the Emperor, the High Priestess, and the Hierophant here. Like rise above this if you need to, right? Answer to it in such a way that, I'm not trying to say that we're better than the situation. It's not that, but we deserve more than maybe what this situation is providing us. It might only be bringing us anxiety and grief at this point. And it's just like we're aware now that it's not worth it anymore, or it's not meeting us at our level, and that's okay, right? So grounding in that knowledge, grounding in the spiritual knowledge or wisdom that the Hierophant, the High Priestess, even the Emperor would offer us, and even the devil. Shadow work brings us a certain amount of spiritual wisdom and internal knowledge about who we are, and knowing who we are lets us know who we aren't. Does that make sense? So in essence, when we understand ourselves better, both light and dark, we know what belongs to us and what doesn't within relationships. And I tend to do that. Like I'll get confused by like, oh my God, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I saying the wrong thing? Because they're upset and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, no, you need to listen to what you know to be true today. If the fears or anxieties or the worries of the what you're rooting in or the knowledge that you're holding strong in, I just feel like, damn, like the Emperor, the High Priestess, all of these cards have shown up to the boardroom. Like that's it. And they're asking us to ground in who we are, what we know to be true, and ground in that knowledge, that wisdom, and let that lead today. Even if others don't like it, or it stirs up some devil's situations or reactions that we didn't expect or don't want to deal with, we don't have to necessarily deal with them. That's what I mean by rise above. I almost get this sort of sense of like, okay, if you want to act that way, go ahead and act that way. I'm going to stay over here in my lane, in my truth, in my wisdom, and operate from this place, rooted in this, and fix my world, so to speak, from a place of empowerment. When you're ready, I'm here kind of feeling is the vibe that I get. Definite, like, I'm going to just say it, there's big D energy all over these cards today, especially with root showing up. The lingam. luscious lingam. All right. That is your reading before I get too crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If it makes sense, please hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a question or comment if it resonates. I would love to hear who understands this or what is going on in your life, because right now it is going on. They are all coming to the boardroom, so get ready to take some stenographer notes. Share the video out. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And tune in tomorrow to see how this reading or how this energy shifts and changes. I love you all. Have a wonderful day and take care. Happy new moon. Bye-bye.